Hi, I'm Dr. Wendy Bohan and I'm an earthquake geologist. I'm doing a video series on earthquakes in all 50 states, and today's state is Idaho. Earthquakes in Idaho happen in these different seismic zones. So there's the Intermountain Seismic Zone, the Central Seismic Zone, the Western Seismic Zone, and the Lewis and Clark Zone in northern Idaho. Earthquakes in Idaho come from both volcanic and tectonic sources. And moderate to small earthquakes happen pretty frequently, so that would be earthquakes magnitude 5 and below. And some of those earthquakes occur in earthquake swarms. Now, we've talked about this in some other videos. Earthquake swarms are different. They're kind of a different beast than regular earthquakes. So normally you have a bigger earthquake and that's followed by lots of smaller earthquakes called aftershocks. Swarms are where you have earthquakes that are all around the same magnitude that happen around the same time and in a particular geographic area. So in Idaho, this is especially apparent or happens a lot along the Long Valley Fault Zone, which is in the western Idaho seismic zone. So there are also bigger earthquakes that can happen in Idaho. This is an incomplete list of some of the magnitude 6+ earthquakes that have happened in or near Idaho in the last 100-ish years. There's a lot of them. There are some other noteworthy earthquakes that have happened that we probably should mention. There was the 1934 Hansel Valley earthquake that was a magnitude 6.6. And again, this one was in Utah, so I'm talking about earthquakes that happened either in Idaho or that impacted Idaho. There was the magnitude 7.3 Hebgen Lake earthquake that happened in 1959. The Bora Peak earthquake, which was a magnitude 6.9 that happened in 1983, and then the 2020 Stanley earthquake, which was a magnitude 6.5. Definitely Idaho is earthquake country. If we just look at a smaller, snap of time, 1973 to 2009, Idaho had over 1,200 recorded earthquakes. And that included 83 earthquakes between a magnitude 4 and 5, 5 earthquakes between a magnitude 5 and 6, and 2 earthquakes between a magnitude 6 and 7. So there's lots of active faults in Idaho. One of the most active is the Bear Lake Fault Zone, but one of the very famous faults in the US actually runs into Idaho from Utah, and that is the Wasatch Fault. This is one of the most active and longest normal faults in the world. So it starts in central Utah and runs up into Idaho, although once it gets up into Idaho, that part of the fault appears to be less active, but large quakes could still happen there, greater than a magnitude 6. So Idaho is earthquake country. If you want to learn more about earthquakes in this area, where they happen, why they happen, and how you can prepare for them, I really recommend this handbook, Putting Down Roots in Earthquake Country. This is the Idaho version. So just so you remember, if you feel earthquake shaking, drop down to the ground, take cover underneath a sturdy object, and hold on until all the shaking has stopped. Don't be scared. Be prepared.